I'm going to show you how you can take bulk Pokemon cards and turn it into cold hard cash. When you open packs of Pokemon cards, you get tons and tons of just junk cards. What if I told you that you could actually take these Pokemon cards and turn them into money? In my opinion, bulk cards are not junk, but to some other people, they might not want them. They might have completed their sets, they're done with what they need them for, and now it's time to repurpose those items and try and find a way to make more money to fill your collection or your collecting or your passion needs when it comes to Pokemon cards. Well, I have a solution for you. I actually have 3 of them, and today I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can sell your Pokemon bulk cards, and my channel goes into all sorts of different ways that you can sell Pokemon cards online. And if you stay until the end of the video, I'm going to show you exactly how I sell Pokemon cards in my business. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into method number 3. The first method that we're going to be talking about is selling Pokemon bulk to card stores. Now, these can be both online card stores and in-person card stores, and this is the easiest method on this list. Essentially, you have commons and uncommons, you have rares and holo rares, and all these things that you don't want anymore, and there are card stores that will actually just buy these things from you. My store buys them at the labtcg.com, or you can look at other sellers. There's TCG Bulk Kings, there's the Safari Zone, there's the Game Capital, there's Pokemon Coliseum. All of these people buy bulk, and when you are trying to sell bulk to these companies, if you're going to have to ship it, most of these people on their website will have a bulk submission form. Now, this bulk submission form is going to lay out some ground rules. Usually they want you to be over the age of 18. They want all of the cards to be near mint, in good condition. Maybe they want you to sort it, and they're just going to kind of give you some ground information. But once you get past that, and make sure you read it, it's really important. But once you get past that, at the bottom, there's going to be little fill out boxes where they're saying, okay, I'm going to pay you $17 per 1,000 cards that you have. Or maybe if it's holo rares, they're going to pay 10 cents a card, 8 cents a card. Who knows? It depends on the site, and you can really shop around and try and find the best value for you. But essentially, these stores, once you fill out that form and hit submit, it's on to you to now batch up all your cards and send them to these stores. There's a very, very proper way to do this that I'll get into in a second, but essentially once you kind of submit that form, you're obligated to then send cards that you've promised to send to these companies and send the bulk to them. And then once they kind of go through it and make sure that the counts that you submit on the form and the bulk that they're receiving check out, they will then pay you cash or store credit for those cards. Now, as I just mentioned, there's a proper way to do this, so let's kind of talk about that. Don't just take all your bulk cards, throw them in a box, and send them to a company. They get damaged, it's just a mess, and the receiving company on the other side is going to have a really hard time trying to pay you, and in some cases, if they arrive damaged, they just won't pay you at all. So, here's how you should be doing it. There are methods where you take 100 cards and you wrap them in paper, or you take 100 cards and you put them in a team bag or a graded card sleeve. Essentially, what you want to do is make stacks of 100 of these cards. First, sort them by commons, uncommons, those can go together, then sort by rares, then go holo rares or reverse holos, and by doing that, you're actually going to maximize the value that you're getting out of your bulk, because some companies will pay different rates for each of those types of categories. So you want to make sure you know how much you have of what, and you're telling the company that's receiving them that you have that amount, because that's how you're going to maximize the amount that you're getting. The other option is to just kind of like say that you have unsorted bulk and send it all at once and don't sort it out. That's going to make you have to do less work, but you're going to receive less money. But once you've kind of sorted all these things out, take a stack of 100, wrap it in some paper, or take 50 and put it in a team bag. And essentially, you're just making it so that these stacks are really close together, so that when these boxes get shipped, they're not moving around and getting damaged and the conditions getting all messed up. Because remember, these companies are buying it from you at a near mint price. Put some bubble wrap into the packages, and the best way that you can actually ship a bunch of bulk is going to be these USPS flat rate boxes. You can fit up to 6,000 cards in one of these things, and depending, it's about $25, maybe $20 to ship one of these things. And if you aren't too concerned about making money off the bulk, you more so just want to liquidate it because it's taking up space, this is a great option to sell those cards. Again, I buy bulk at the labtcg.com, and there are tons of other sellers out there that you could go to. Number 2 method that you could do, this is taking it up a step. It makes it a lot more difficult, because when you're selling to some of these companies or a local game store, it's as simple as sort out the cards, make sure that you're shipping stuff properly, and then move it on to the next place and then get paid out for it via PayPal or store credit. But this next method I'm going to give you is going to allow you to make more money than selling directly to game stores, but it takes a little bit more effort. Now, if you've been on eBay or you've been on Amazon, or maybe you've looked on local Facebook marketplace groups and you've seen these listings for Pokemon bulk lots. If you've seen those, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen them, essentially sellers and businesses will create like mystery grab bags where maybe you get 25 commons, 10 uncommons, maybe 5 ultra rares, 10 holo rares, and it's all in for one price. Maybe that's $10, $5, $15, and maybe it's like 20 ultra rares and it's $100. There's all sorts of these different little lots, and you can actually make these yourself. You don't have to just assume you can't sell them. If you start an eBay account or you start an Amazon account, which requires a lot more work, or you just post online, you can actually sell these mystery lots and get more for your bulk. As much as 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the amount that you would get from just selling to a store. And it's as simple as this. Go on eBay, create a listing, say Pokemon bulk lot, and then charge how much you want to. This is the really, really bare bones video about it, and there's more videos on my channel that cover how you should do this, what shipping supplies you would need. But essentially, you're kind of starting your own way of getting this bulk out of your house and kind of maximizing the value that you can get from it. Alternatively, you could do this locally, where you go on Facebook Marketplace and you say, hey, I have all these cards and I'm selling these little mystery grab bags or grab packs, and then you compile the cards, and it's really up to you. It's completely customizable. You could offer 100 commons, uncommons for $5, or you could just, do a mix of things. But that's going to be the second way that I would sell bulk. And the last way actually takes a lot more effort. And this is much more in line with how I sell my Pokemon bulk personally, and that is to sell singles. Now, my favorite website for doing this is actually going to be TCG Player, but eBay also works here too, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. This is no get-rich-quick scheme, but this is the best way to get the most amount out of your bulk. So, how would you do this? Once you create a TCG Player account, you're essentially a seller on TCG Player. You now have the option to list cards, whether that's ultra rares or these bulk cards that you have. And guess what? People actually want the bulk cards that you have. Surprisingly enough, there are competitive players that are looking for staples in their competitive decks, whether that's commons and uncommons that are good or holo rares that are good in the card game. There's collectors like you or like any viewer is trying to fill out collections. Maybe they are missing the common cards that they need for their collection binder. They also shop on TCG Player and eBay for commons and uncommons. So you can kind of fill this need of listing your commons and uncommons. Now, I talk about this on other videos about how you should be pricing these things and how you could be packaging these things. But essentially, the idea here is you list all of your commons, all of your uncommons, all of your holo rare, all of your reverse hit rare, and you get a large inventory of bulk Pokemon cards, and then you set your shipping price to a price that makes sense to where you're not going to lose money when you ship these cards in a plain white envelope. Once you do that, the sales will start to roll in. I'm not promising high levels of sales, but I get a bunch of sales every day doing exactly this, where I set a floor price. For me, that's about $0.25, and then I have my shipping set at $1 or $2, and then orders start to come in. And the trend with these orders is people are buying tons and tons of cards from one set, or they're buying an array of holos, and essentially you're listing your bulk so that collectors can come on to your store and buy everything they need in one place. To take this one step further, I actually sell on TCG Player Direct, which they do all the shipping and stuff on my behalf, and that's a whole different topic for another day, but that's the third way that you could sell Pokemon cards, and it takes the most amount of effort, the most amount of time, but is the way to make the most amount of money. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how would you actually go about buying bulk? Say you aren't in the business of just getting rid of extra common cards and you want to actually generate an income from doing this. Well, again, this is no get-rich-quick scheme, but you can totally make money with bulk. How do you think those businesses in the beginning of the video, what do you think they do with their bulk? Well, they do just this. They buy bulk from customers, they buy bulk from collectors, and then they go ahead and repackage them on eBay and Amazon, or they repackage it and sell it on TCG Player. That's exactly what I do. And here are some of the strategies that I utilize to buy bulk. As I just mentioned, I have a website where I use my Shopify form to go ahead and broadcast that, hey, I'm buying bulk. Customers and people and collectors either come through this YouTube channel or my other social media outlets and see that I'm buying bulk, fill out that form, and then send me the bulk. Once I've accumulated bulk, I go and list it on TCG Player and through TCG Player Direct, and then the bulk starts to sell. The other way you could be doing this is if you go on Facebook, there's usually people that are talking about, hey, I have a bulk collection, I'd like to sell it. Message that seller and offer them some bulk rates. start to kind of get your bulk rates ready, because this is going to be really useful as you start to continuously message people. You're going to want to tell them how much you're charging or how much you are willing to pay for each tier of item, and see if they're comfortable with selling to you. If they are, great, you've acquired a bulk collection. Now, one of the really cool things about this is you can actually get uncommons and common cards from people that are a little bit more valuable than the regular common and uncommon, and this is where you can really start to compound the money that you're getting. The strategy that I would take here is you're not going to sell the whole bulk collection overnight. It's really hard to actually sell bulk, and it takes a lot of time. Behind me, I've listed about 12 different sets of cards, and I have about 17,000 cards in inventory on TCG Player. My strategy here is a long one. Over time, people are going to continuously show up to my store, and they're going to continuously buy from me. As long as I provide a good experience for them, the cards arrive safe, and they're in the conditions listed, I'm going to get return customers, and I'm going to get more people that are looking to fill out their collections. Over time, the sales are going to stack, and the cards are just going to start paying for themselves. When one card sells, and if it sells at 25 cents, usually I can make about 50% of that value netted back to me. So 25 cents, you can start doing the math here. I'm going to be making about 12.5 cents per card that I'm selling. So if I'm buying these cards for a penny, that's 12x, and that pays for 11 other cards plus that card. And now you start to get this compounding growth where the cards that you've actually acquired start to pay for all the other cards that you've acquired, and they just keep doing that as you kind of go along and you acquire more, and they kind of spread, and you can kind of see where this is going. And that's how I sell bulk. I sell on TCG Player Direct, where I send them everything and it sends out on my behalf. So if you want to learn more about how I would do that, go ahead and check out this video and see exactly what I'm talking about.